What's going on, y'all? It's your girl, Maya Desire, and of course,
Shima.
we're here again with Fuck You Respectfully, the after show podcast, and we are back with another podcast review of season 2, episode 2 for P Valley. This episode is called 7 Pounds of Pressure. Of course, this episode is filled with a lot of little trinkets, a lot of gems, and some surprises, of course. And one of those surprises being Uncle Clifford's birthday. Now, we know that the Pynk was supposed to be reopening, as Uncle Clifford likes to say, not on the date that Autumn set it for. So now she's pushed up the date, and the date happens to be Uncle Clifford's birthday. And it's a bit of tension about why she chose that date. According to her, she didn't know it was Uncle Clifford's birthday, but whatever, we'll let her slide and cut her some slack. How do you feel about that being on like Uncle Clifford's birthday? Like, what are your thoughts?
I feel like you always have that one friend, right? That just they're just not making the cut. Excuse me. I just feel like Autumn is doing so. It looks to me that Autumn and Uncle Clifford work on different things throughout the club, which makes it kind of difficult for them to work together. Even down to the fact of her asking where all the money is on episode 1. What was that, episode 2?
Yeah, that was episode 1.
Okay, yeah. So her asking where all the money is. So they are clearly uncoordinated when it comes to the business aspect of the club, even down to when it's supposed to be opening. And I feel like Autumn has really dropped the ball here, reopening the club so soon when they're not ready.
Right, because Uncle Clifford mentioned that he's not upset that the reopening is on his birthday. He's upset that it's on that they're not ready, that the Pynk is not ready for it. And of course, Autumn is kind of like, this is about money, this is business, so I get that, but she's also being very cold about it. And so she's not seeing the bigger picture. She's only seeing the money picture. And I think that that's a fault of hers right now. She can't see with a wider lens. She has tunnel vision. So, of course, Uncle Clifford decides that, well, I'm not showing up. You can do what you want with the Pynk, of course. And that leads to some other things that happen. But before we jump into that, here we see Uncle Clifford's grandmother, basically put the whole surprise together. You know what I mean? Like, what were your thoughts when you even saw Uncle Clifford getting kidnapped?
I love that. I know that Uncle Clifford's grandma is so intuitive, so I knew there was no way that she didn't intuitively feel like there was something around. So I kind of had an inclination that there was going to be some sort of surprise, and I was really happy that Uncle Clifford, we get to see his group of friends supporting him, his real friends, the friends that he's known for years, supporting him and kidnapping him for his birthday. So that was exciting to see. They had some characters come out. They had Where the Money Resides, at his party. So that was cool to see. I enjoyed seeing like the different young black queer people that were in Uncle Clifford's circle, because he's only turning 40. Okay, 40 is the new 20. So that was fun to see. I love that.
I think that, I love the vibe. I love the authenticity of it, the fun of it. I thought that it was real for me. I understood like being in a space where you're celebrating your birthday, but you're not 100% present, because you see Uncle Clifford sitting in the big chair of the throne, and for a few he's laughing, he's kikiing it up, but then eventually you see his face kind of go bland or not, like just kind of in deep thought, and he thinks he's seeing Lil Murda, of course, at the party, so that's something that's on his mind. Mm-hmm. But I think it's almost like he's having a midlife crisis. He wants to enjoy it, but there's just so many things going on. The Pynk is not where it should be, and thoughts about the girls and, you know, what's going to happen when Uncle Clifford is not at the Pynk. And so all those things come into play. And, you know, but it's good to see him being celebrated. It's good to see that Uncle Clifford has people outside of the Pynk that will come to his rescue, essentially, to make sure that they know it's your birthday and you gotta turn up for the turn up one time. So that was pretty dope. Of course, while Uncle Clifford is away, you know, the Pynk will play and shit will burn down, because it almost did. Autumn had a whole fire at the Pynk while Uncle Clifford was gone. But more than that, Mercedes tries to keep up with the new girls, Whisper and Roulette, you know, and unfortunately ends up falling with the shoulder that was hurting her. What, like, how did that fall make you think or feel, rather?
It was interesting. We got to see Mercedes try to keep up with the young girls, you know, and outdo herself. And it was kind of, I was kind of like, Mercedes girl, why do you even need to do this? Because you're going to split the bag down 3 ways regardless. You girls are all on stage. You don't have to, but I guess it really shows how much Mercedes loves getting attention. Like, she loves being the center of attention. Even season 1, when Autumn came in, of course, because she's high yellow and she was the new girl on the block, Mercedes was also fighting to be one of the girls that we're seeing between Mississippi and Autumn. So she's always kind of been fighting for her place, and she's always kind of landed in her eyes in 3rd place, even though I think Mercedes is an excellent performer. It seems like she feels like she should be more of the star of the club. And so we get to see her just really trying super hard to do a trick that she knows she's like not capable of right now because she's injured. So I was disappointed to see Mercedes being so attention hungry at that point, honestly.
I think she's just trying to keep her spot. You know what I mean? She wants to let it be known that she's still Mercedes. You can still come through for the Mercedes experience, and that she's there to stay, even though she's not there to stay because she got other dreams that she got going on, you know? And so, of course, I think that that's interesting that she's always been fighting, like you said. But also, like, Mercedes is an OG, you know what I mean? So she gotta show these youngins, like, what it is. But again, not at the expense of herself. And I feel like that's the biggest thing, is that, you know, she knows she's injured. She knows she's not at 100%, and she still proceeds to climb. And, you know, it lands her on Diamond's table, you know, like not at the ER, but at Diamond's table, where he performs hoodoo. So that in itself was a really nice twist of the storyline, where, you know, we see Diamond exercising basically the spirit, that whatever is attached to her, the bad energy.
Mm-hmm. And I enjoy seeing that because it really taps on the spiritual culture down south. Mm-hmm. And so it really shows like them still keeping up with their rituals and like the things that they do pertaining to healing. And I enjoyed seeing that, like, history, like them still using these sort of historical teachings from their ancestors and still taking them and using them to heal each other. And mm-hmm. we all know that Diamond is into that because, of course, he gives Mercedes this crystal necklace, which she still wears. It was kind of funny to see her wearing it to the dollar store, you know.
Keyshawn.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Keyshawn. So Keyshawn still wears the healing crystal that Diamond gave to her in season 1. So that kind of introduced us to Diamond being more in tune with like his spirituality and his healing expertise or talents. So that was exciting to see, and that was interesting. I love how they tied history into one of the main events of the show. And we learned from his healing of Mercedes that Mercedes was injured because she shot Montavious. And I thought that that was very, very interesting because now we kind of get to see why Mercedes is mad as hell. I would be mad too. Like, why am I struggling? Why am I up here trying to even keep up with these young girls? I should have stake in the club too. You know, I put my neck on the line for Autumn. I shot Montavious, and Autumn is staying at my place. Like, something has got to give at that point.
Right. I think that's, we see her talk about that, her blaming Autumn for the whole situation and in the totality, like, you're the reason I'm here, so I think Mercedes have every right to be pissed off at this point, and then Autumn is living with her, so now she's like, you got to get your shit and you got to go, because that energy that Diamond has now released her from, she can't go back into a house with Autumn, not until Autumn herself is cleansed from that bad energy as well. So I think that there needs to be some healing with Autumn for her to move forward, for her and Mercedes' relationship to even get better at this point. But you see them having conversation. It's a group thing now, right? Because Big L and Diamond, well, I don't think Big L is it, but Diamond, of course, mentions that, like, I know where the bodies are buried, right? Because he still has Montavious' ring, and Autumn is thinking, like, oh, you have evidence, and he's like, no, this is how I know that the spirit won't go too many different places. So I think that's just an interesting situation in itself. I was really excited to see them bring that into the show because we are well known for our natural healing, for our herbs, for energy work and things of that nature. So I really thought that was dope. We will see how this affects Mercedes moving forward. Because obviously now she cannot work. She can't, well, she shouldn't be working. So is she going to work or, work through it? Or is she going to sit her ass down and is she going to heal? You know what I mean? That is the next question.
And is she going to be given the opportunity to heal? Or is, she going to be supported by Autumn or Uncle Clifford while she is trying to heal? Because then she can't perform or make the money in the club. So I would be, I would be interested in seeing how they support her while she's injured. Because I don't know if you guys heard of this, but it was like a year or so back where this stripper fell from like a really huge club and it was really, really high. And like she fell, but she had to get a GoFundMe because the club did not support her, after she fell, even though, she was doing what she was doing. She was giving a great performance, and she was really high up. But after she fell, there was no support for her. So I think it's also interesting to see them tackle on this side because we get to see how sex workers are affected by not being protected. You know what I'm saying? Because you fall, you get injured on a job, you don't get unemployment like you would at maybe another type of contracting job or a regular corporate job. So these girls are literally working for the money that night. And what they make that night, that goes towards health care, that goes towards dental care, and that goes towards, all of their other expenses that they have. So I think it was important to see,
Right, yeah. Well, moving on from Mercedes, our one last point that we have is Keyshawn, aka Miss Mississippi, and she was offered a chance to go on tour with Lil Murda. She turned it down. And then she basically manipulated Derek, her boyfriend, into letting her go because she knew he didn't get the job, but she didn't tell him that. So when he told her that she didn't get the that he didn't get the job, she then proceeded to say like, oh, I didn't know. She seduces him. You see her get on top of him, and basically while they're having sex, she says, "You gotta let me take care of you and make sure that we're okay. So I'm gonna go on tour." And a lot of people, I know that that's gonna be a talking point for Black Twitter because that is the epitome of the conversation where men talk about women using their bodies to get what they want, right? And so, I mean, that scene for me was very interesting, not surprising, but interesting. And I mean, I wasn't surprised that that's something that she did because I do believe that Keyshawn is smart, and if she's already having sex with Derek, I feel like it's not something different than what she's already been doing. She's just using it to her advantage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, Keyshawn has to use, because she cannot use physical force, she has to use her mental force to be able to manipulate situations because she's in an abusive situation. So if she had a normal boyfriend, she could just tell him, hey, like, I want to go to work and like this is what I want to do. But because she can't tell him that because he's so violent and abusive, she has to kind of create these outlets for her to be able to sway him in her direction. And I think that we can't forget that Mississippi is a sex worker. Even though she's not having sex with her clients, she's seducing them. So that's just something that she's good at anyway. And so she's very smart. Even when she was having the meeting with,
Her manager.
Yeah, her manager. We can tell that Mercedes is very smart and very, very well versed in how she knows how to make money. And so she knows that she can also use her skills to get her pretty much anything that she wants. I'm curious to see how she's going to use it in other ways as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely think that there is so much to come from Mercedes, from Mississippi. But for the whole entire P Valley crew, their stories are going to be very detail oriented this season, I believe. Just by what we've seen so far, they've been given tidbits of each character. And I'm really excited, to see how we will build from here. 2 episodes in, so much more to go. June 3rd. Y'all get ready because it's about to be lit. So until next time, y'all, we will see you back here again for another episode of Fuck You Respectfully, the after show podcast for the recaps. Deep diving into the episodes that we love so much with P Valley. All right. Peace, y'all.
Peace.